Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And we've talked about all kinds of stuff as normal, put the worlds to rights, and I made Joy watch a Macho Man Randy Savage video filmed in Paris in 1988. So we are ready to go.
Which makes me understand a lot about maybe stereotypes, but we'll debate that in the future. All right. Tim, I think you have a little bit of like some CD stuff you want to put out there to the world.
Absolutely. So I thought I'd bring back CD of the week again. I've got a large CD collection. It's sometimes nice to share my stock of CDs with the world. So this week, my CD of the week is the album Chickenfoot by the band Chickenfoot. Now, the question I have for Joy, are you even aware of Chickenfoot or who or what they are?
No, I don't know what's happening. When I think of a Chickenfoot, I think of a Southern cuisine that's probably not related, but Joy grew up in the South, so take it for what it is. Take it for what it is, everybody. Why are we talking about Chicken Feet?
So Chickenfoot was a band in the mid-2000s, and it was a supergroup of sorts. It featured Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony on bass from Van Halen.
I think you've talked about this a little bit, but I don't have a reference point to it. So yes, okay, I kind of know what you're talking about, yes.
Yeah, the guitar virtuoso Joe Satriani on guitar, and from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Chad Smith on drums. Now, they released 2 studio albums and a live album, but this is their first album, the self-titled Chickenfoot album. Now, I'm sure if you heard the song Oh Yeah, you would probably know it, because Hannah told me at the time it was pretty much in heavy rotation on 96.3. So I'm sure if you heard it, you'd be at least familiar with it.
I'll say, oh yeah, Chickenfoot. Never a thing I've ever thought I would Google, but fine.
I mean, it's a great track. It's a great album.
Yeah, I've heard this before. Hannah was not wrong. She didn't bring you astray. I've heard this before.
Yeah, and there's another song. There's another song called Sexy Little Thing, which again was another single, which again you've probably heard. But that Oh Yeah track is probably the biggest track that came off this album.
Okay. I mean, what is it that you want? What's funny about it is like when I'm looking at the little album that Tim is holding, it looks like a chicken foot, but it also looks like a peace sign. And in this moment, I've never realized that a chicken foot kind of looks like a peace sign.
It's very similar. That was their logo. They all had instruments made with that logo on it. I remember that they played on the Conan's Tonight Show when he had the Tonight Show for 5 minutes. They played on that show. It was quite a band. And now Sammy Hagar is touring with his Best of All Worlds band, which effectively is Chickenfoot but with a different drummer.
I really love that, like, Tim just graced over the fact that I just realized that a Chickenfoot kind of looks like a peace sign. No one's going to talk about that. Like, that could be like, I want someone to write that on a shirt with like an actual chicken foot. Like, what does it kind of look like a peace sign, Tim?
I don't know. It just is made. Maybe you need a T-shirt made with a chicken on it, and it's doing the peace sign, and it says peace chicken with its feet or
Googled
something.
this to make sure I wasn't going crazy. I gave it a Google in real air. You're spot on. The classic peace sign eventually looks like a bird's footprint. Okay, there we go. That should be used. I don't know. It probably is. I probably like way past someone else knows this, Tim. But it does, like, chicken foot looks like a peace sign, if anybody was wondering.
Well, you know, Sammy Hagar's quite a peaceful fellow, so maybe there was some undertone. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he seems peaceful-ish. I don't know. I've never heard of him not being peaceful.
No, he's a cool dude. He's incredibly rich, and he has a great time all of the time.
I mean, I can't even get mad. I just want to be incredibly rich. We did that episode one time where we talked about like the guy who found like the baseball courts on his property that he
Hmm.
had owned for years. And I'm like, how rich do you have to be to find proper like a baseball, basketball? I don't mean Tim don't know sports. Tennis, ball, something. Something was on his property, right, Tim?
I think it was
How rich
it
you
was some rapper character, and it was a tennis court, if I remember correctly.
All right, well, we'll take Tim's knowledge. We'll take Tim for that. I don't remember. But, like, how rich you have to be that you've owned a property for so long that you don't even know what song it is? Anyway, some moral stories. So, yes, Chickenfoot, it looks like a peace sign. Everybody should listen to it, is what I'm gathering.
Absolutely. And the other thing, this was a limited edition CD that I bought used because obviously I didn't buy it when it came out, and it has
Of
a
course.
heat sensitive cover. So, like where I've been holding it, you see
Hmm.
that the cover
Mhm.
reveals itself. Isn't that
And so
clever?
now I have Tim's fingerprints. So if I go commit crimes,
Well,
I
what will
will
happen
make sure that happens.
as it cools down,
That's a joke,
it
everybody.
goes. And on the back is the track list, but you sort of have to
That's cool, though.
give it some heat
So
before
I
you see
was
what the
at
tracks are.
So you were talking about your favorite, you love your physical medias as one does. I was at your favorite store this weekend, the YMCA store,
Hmm.
which is in the Blacksburg, Virginia, which is by the Virginia Tech. If anyone is trying to Google us, it doesn't matter. Tim loves a good YMCA store. I saw a man today, or no, I saw a man not today, but I saw a man on Saturday. It is now Monday. He was buying like 300 CDs, Tim. You need you need to take it up a notch, apparently. I don't know what he was doing, but I literally walked in the store, right? Tim will tell you there's like a glass door. When there's like if you go to the right, you've got like a lot of like there's art and there's like a lot of furniture and stuff. And I was getting ready to turn that way because me and Charlie are looking for a new chair to go in our living room. Debate for another time, doesn't really matter. And if you can find a good deal on it, why wouldn't you, right, Tim? So anyway, I just saw this man. There was a stack this tall, Tim. Like it was as tall as my head. And I have a fat head, so take it for what it is. I don't know. This man was buying like 300 CDs. And I was like, well, Tim's got a lot to live up to.
Well, I haven't been thrifting for a while because I found the quality of thrifted CDs has completely diminished. All the good stuff, it seems to be, is picked over. Unless you go when someone's donated a really nice collection. Pretty much what's left in the thrift shops around here is no good. So what I've been doing is I've allocated a small budget, and once a week I buy a new one or a nearly new one off the internet, and then I get exactly what I want.
So I have an incredibly different reason that I am thrifting that Tim will be like, Joy, this means nothing to me. But it does mean something to the world. I am refusing to buy fast fashion anymore. So
Hmm.
like I will buy stuff from Walmart, Target, like when it comes to clothing. So I've been going to all the thrift stores every weekend to find like quality pieces. Like right now I'm wearing an Anne Klein piece. You might not know this, but this is worth $50 to $60, and I thrifted it this weekend at YMCA. It's a personal thing. We don't need to get into the logistics of it. Joy's got some stuff going on there. But anyway, with that being said, is I've been focusing on clothes. I found a Carl's leg filled shoes, Tim. And I know this means nothing to you and Tim could care less. But if someone out there is listening, Carl's legs filled, and when you thrift in Blacksburg, and Tim will tell you this, people have more money. They have more money than
Hmm.
anywhere else. Locally, Virginia Tech, it's a thing. And those shoes were worth at least $100 plus. But I didn't buy them. I didn't buy them because they weren't in great condition on the inside and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I have been doing this thing where I refuse to buy fast fashion because fast fashion is ended up in a lot of countries. Tim understands what I'm saying, and like it's
Hmm.
like a whole issue. So I have been going to thrift stores every weekend. But I will say this man was buying 300. I don't know anyone in real time is buying like I mean, Tim, it was like a lot of CDs, like 300 plus CDs. I wanted to talk to him, but that's awkward and like who wants to do that like in real time. But this man was buying 300 plus CDs.
There you go.
And like Tim just said, like if they're not even in good quality, what was he doing with them? Maybe just
Probably
testing them.
reselling them.
Well, there is a big thing right now. I have a friend he is not actively he refuses to like be involved in like Netflix and Hulu just for own personal reasons. Kind of what I was just saying with the fast
Hmm.
fashion, and he's building his own server of movies. And my husband's been talking to him, and Tim can get to the IT. There's like a word for it, like a term for it, like a whole thing that's going down with this. I think Tim would know more than I would, but like they're buying them and then they're doing, there's like a whole thing going there. And I imagine, if I had to be honest with you, Tim, I think that's what was happening in this scenario.
Yeah, he might be ripping them. You never know.
And what is it though, Tim? Like he's literally, my friend is literally building like his own.
It's a Plex server.
That's the word I'm looking for. Charlie said it to me like 1,000 times now, but I couldn't remember the word. Anyway, someone looked it up, but don't care. With that being said, Tim, was there anything else you would like to talk to the people
No,
before I go anywhere else?
I'm just recommending you listen to the first Chickenfoot self-titled album. Now, Joy, I understand that you've got a music item, and then it's going to be onto your topic.
Absolutely. So I've been doing, we talked about last week, I started a new thing. We moved a little bit away from music news. Music news gets a little wonky. It's also a little hard because we record these and you guys don't hear them for 3, 4, 5 weeks. So it gets a little weird. Now, we've been talking about women who are underrated. So I picked a woman who I thought was underrated, and that's literally the name of this topic. Take it for what it is, Tim. I don't know. I don't know if it's a better way to say the name of this segment, but it's women who are underrated.
Yeah.
So I picked Betty Davis. So for those who don't know, I think a lot of people only know Betty Davis from literally Betty Davis eyes.
Yeah.
So, and I thought this was very interesting. We're going into June. This is June 1st. You won't hear this for a few weeks, but it's also the LGBT plus Q community month. We've got Pride Month going on. So Betty Davis is an American songwriter, singer, and model. She's known as the second wife of Miles Davis. She's also known as a member of the LGBT plus Q community. She has worked very hard to put a lot of controversial and or sexually oriented, take that for what it is, lyrics in her songs. She has a style, she has a thing, she's flamboyant, she's funky, she's diva, she's everything. She has been one of those people that people like Tina Turner and David Bowie have said that she is an influence. So for those who don't know, Betty Davis was born Betty Mayberry. I don't know why that came out so hard. And she's from Durham, North Carolina, which if Tim knows anything about someone who grew up in South Virginia, that's very close to us.
Yeah.
She developed an interest in music when she was about 10. At 10, she wrote her first songs. I'm going to bake the cake of love, which I think is the sweetest name for a 10-year-old to ever write a song for, so on and so forth. And then if you know anything about Betty Davis, she became amazing. She's been through so many different things. Her music's wonderful. She is like a sight for sore eyes. She is one of those people like Grace Kelly, where she's also known for all of her like cool, flamboyant, amazing, beautiful. Like wasn't just a musician. She was an artist in the sense that she embodied it all through all of this. I thought it was a great person to honor as we're going into Pride Month, but also women who are underrated. If you've ever heard the song Betty Davis Eyes, that's fine, wonderful, amazing. Please actually go look up the person behind that statement, and that is Betty Davis.
Absolutely. An icon, an American icon.
So that's what I was gonna say. I don't even think you get some song. Just Google her. Just Google her. She's amazing. Oh, wonderful. And if you don't know who Miles Davis is, well, I would say Google that too, because we're not going to be here for 74 years. But that is the beginning of what I think is a great intro to Pride Month. With that being said, it is my topic. I spent a lot of time on this one because I kept going back and forth. By the way, she's known as the queen of raw funk. So take for that what you will.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time thinking about this episode, and I was thinking a lot about, me and Tim did a version of Creep Radiohead, and, we've joked about for many years. A lot of different artists hate to perform songs they don't want to hear anymore. And to be honest with you, I could totally see myself as a musician be like, no, I hate that song. I don't want to hear it. Because I get burnt out of songs that I just hear from my ears, right?
Yes.
And I'm not even the one performing them. So this episode is songs that artists don't want to perform anymore. I don't know, Tim. find a great topic for that. But I try not to find the ones we know. The most obvious one is Radiohead Creep, right? We've talked about that ad nauseum on this podcast, so I didn't really want to get into this. Now, Tim has alluded to this one, and this is where we'll start the episode. This is Beastie Boys, You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party. So the alleged anthem was conceived as a party anthem, but it was supposed to be sarcastic. The whole concept of it was making fun of the kind of brainless, misogynistic, frat boy-esque party culture, right? And the irony is that was lost on the public.
Yeah, because the Beastie Boys pretty much embodied that stereotype. They were the frat boy party culture. And if you look at any of their videos, including the video for this song, it's like you see them and you see their mannerisms and see how they dress and see the situations they are in their videos. And it is that culture. So yes, people didn't realize that they were parodying that with this song.
So apparently this, they've talked ad nauseum. They don't like to perform it because it's literally the opposite. They hated that frat boy culture, but I'm also kind of like, you kind of did it to yourself in some capacity, right, Tim? Like, in some way they kind of did it to themselves, but I also understand where they're coming from. Also, like, when you hear it, like, you gotta fight, it's not that fun of, like, I could understand why, like, even if you take all of this out, like, Tim, it wasn't sarcastic. It wasn't supposed to be a song that was just kind of funny and we did it. You know what I'm saying, Tim? I can see how it could just be annoying to perform. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I will tell you, by the time this episode posts, it will have happened. But we will be playing that at the Rough Justice reunion on June the 20th at the Camp Hill Club as part of the set.
I didn't know that was part of the set.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So Timothy may be leaving the country here near soon, is what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm going to go to England. I'm going to do the 30th anniversary of Rough Justice,
which we love. Also, we have, if people do not know, if Sarah and Phil are listening, me and Timothy will also be in the UK in the near future to go to an actual wedding.
Absolutely.
And if it's a UK wedding, there will be a lot of festivities with probably a lot of alcohol.
Absolutely. But that's next year. I've got a couple of other trips before that. But yes, that is by far my plan.
But the moral of the story is you will in the near future. Me and Tim will physically be in the UK together.
Yeah, that is the plan, Joy. That is the plan.
So anyway, Tim, I forgot that's happening, though. I kind of forgot. I knew Tim was going for the Rough Justice reunion, but it's like I feel like the month went by so fast for me. Yeah. So give us the 411 on how you feel about playing it, Tim. I assume you know how to play the song. It doesn't seem like rocket science.
No, it's very simple. It's got it's 4 chords in it, but it's a very simple song to play. I've been practicing the Rough Justice set. I do know how to play it, and to be honest, I didn't even really need to practice it because it's pretty straightforward.
Sir, you could probably play that one in your sleep. I feel like I could pick up the ukulele tomorrow and play it by ear. Like, it's a pretty simple song. And no one was to hear anyone play the Beastie Boys on ukulele, but that's a debate for another time. I love that, though. I forgot that that's happening. I love that it's part of your group, though. All right, so this is another one that we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast, so we'll talk about it again because I do find this funny, and I have a little bit of a Tim's gonna like sigh because it's annoying. It's Oasis Wonderwall, and I have some quotes from Oasis about it. And they're just as annoying as you think they are. Why are they? Can I ask you a question, Timothy?
Yes.
Timothy. I don't know why you become Timothy to that podcast. Why is this so dramatic? Why are some of these British people so dramatic? What am I missing? What's happening here?
Well, I don't think you should tar the general British populace with the Gallagher brothers. Because I will go on record.
Is that what it is?
I will go on record and say that they're a pair of idiots because they
speak for the British population.
gained fame and fortune and success and riches and
After fighting
notoriety and all
over
that
a
kind of
bed or
stuff.
something.
Noel wrote iconic songs. I'm not a big fan of their music. There's a couple of songs like Champagne Supernova, for example, which is a really
This is
good
the
song.
only good one, by the way, but
Yeah,
continue.
but they had everything. Yeah, they were idiots. Like they're feuding because one of them had a bigger bedroom when they were a kid, and they're
I
still
know.
feuding about it. I just honestly do not get it. And I said, don't tar the UK populace with the Gallagher brothers'
All right,
antics.
well, y'all need to talk to him, like take him down and off. So this quote alone just annoys me. It says, "I can't effing stand that song. Every time I have to sing it, I want to gag. You go to America and they're like, 'Are you Mr. Wonderful Wonderwall?' And I want to chin someone."
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
To be fair, Champagne Supernova was very popular in America. So he can take that and shove it if he wanted to say, like, "Oh, this is the only song Americans know, right, Tim?" No, no, we know the other songs. We do, Tim. Like
Sure.
Champagne Supernova is an amazing hit in America, and it's always been for years. So, but the thing about it is I just, it's like, it's like some of those other people we've talked about. Like, it's almost like, and I just can't get past the fact that we have, as a twin, if you've not picked up on this podcast, Joy's a twin. Joy grew up as a twin, which means she had an immediate sister who was in her, like, you know what I mean, life very regularly. And we never once, we unfortunately, I don't know, so I guess not only this, unfortunately, fortunately, we never shared a bedroom because I grew up in a house where we had a big house and then different things like that. And that's not, and for those who said that, oh, wow, that sounds very pretentious. No, it wasn't. It was an old, like rickety house that burned down when I was a sophomore in high school, Tim, for reference, because it was an old country house.
Yep.
But we never really shared a bedroom. Um, and even if we did in that house, we kind of did share a bedroom, but it was big enough that it wasn't like a, you know what I'm saying? Like I was on this side, Brady was on this side, my older sister was over here. Big house. And then when that happened, and then my parents bought a new house, we had like our own separate bedrooms. It never really played out that way. But pretension, that is well, the funniest part of the pretension of this as someone who grew up in this situation is, you know what the funny part about that was, Tim, is there was no heat in the upper part of my house. So if you grew up in Southwest Virginia and you have a house that is like an old southern country house, like there might not be heat, right, Tim, in the upper bedrooms. We didn't have heat. I
Yep.
didn't actually have heat in the upper levels of my house. Now we had a kerosene heater and we had a stove that they could put in and it would make it hot. And my parents bought me an electric blanket, which probably contributed to the fact that my house burned down. But anyway, take it for what it is. That's actually not what made my house burn down. But it's just very interesting to me. Like I'm like looking at these two brothers fighting, and I'm literally a twin, and I'm like, there's a lot more to unpack here than what. Like, how do you fight over a bed, Tim?
Yeah, and that is the beginning of their feud. Now, they reunited recently, as you know, and the big rumor
Sort of,
was is that they would
apparently.
never make it past the first practice because they're still at each other's throats. I think their bank balances got together and decided they could be friends again.
What do you mean, Tim? How many different bands have said until blank freezed over?
Yeah, absolutely. The Eagles said
And
that they would never do it, but they got back together. So
Metallica? How many different bands have said until blank freezed over, Tim? And then weirdly enough, their bank balances freezed over. And
yeah,
then it happened.
I mean, there's a few bands that I've played in with characters that I'd probably rather never see again. But I don't know if the money's right. I could be friends with anyone.
All right, well, let's move along. I'll get off my high horse of Oasis. All right, with that being said, they're just so weird to me. It's such a weird band. This is another band that we know. This is not a song that I ever speak about on this podcast because I could care less if I ever hear it again, but it's worth bringing up on this episode. This is Led Zeppelin. It's Stairway to Heaven, and they don't ever want to perform it together. Ever
No,
again.
I mean, Led Zeppelin as a touring entity hasn't existed for a long time. And for the most part, Robert Plant has distanced himself from the work of Led Zeppelin. Now, in the late 90s, I think it was. They had a whole Page and Plant thing where they would go out and play gigs and perform. And I think they released an album as well, the Unleaded album, which is really good. It has an excellent version of Kashmir on there. But I can see at the height of their fame and fortune when Led Zeppelin were, the thing. I can see why they were fed up of playing it because it is the iconic song that everybody knows and everybody expects it. Yet I can see you get very fed up of it.
So weirdly enough, I learned this, Tim, but did you know this plant famously made a cash donation to an Oregon public radio station during a fundraising drive because they promised to never play this track again if they reached their financial goals. And he donated millions to never have to perform this song again. How crazy is that? Now, what's funny is people kept saying it. What's funny is they kept saying it's a bloody wedding song. What wedding have you... Okay, I have questions. What in Stairway to Heaven is about a wedding?
Well, it's not really about a wedding song, but it's because it's popular and it's got a slow bit and everyone's smooching away and then it gets fast and everyone's having a great time. It's a song maybe that brings people together because it's so iconic.
I don't know, but Tim, I don't want Stairway to Heaven to be playing at my wedding. And then this is kind of like we did that episode. We're talking about how like songs kind of sound romantic, but they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing romantic about Stairway to Heaven, Tim.
No, it's not romantic, but I mean, it's the fact that it's a little bit ballady at the beginning and then it's fast at the end and everyone knows the words and it's that kind of thing.
Ew.
I mean, I get the impression that's what he means.
So, moral story is, Tim, was I am not going. That's the impression that I get. Isn't that an REM song, right?
Yeah.
Is that an REM song? To my crazy words, like that's the impression that I get. I think it's an REM song. All right. Well, someone's going to yell at us and tell us that's wrong, but I think that's the impression that I get. It's an REM song. I don't know why when Tim said that that's what I thought of. So, with that being said, the next one is another song that I never want to hear ever. I'm going to say the band. Let's see if Tim can guess the song. Guns N' Roses.
That would be the song we never speak of from the confectionery section, Sweet Child of Mine. Now, let me tell you about this song. I have basically, I'm not in Guns N' Roses, obviously, and they probably
Are you not, Tim? I thought
and
you
they're
were.
probably more sick of it than I am. But I would say almost every band I've ever been in, with a few exceptions, I've played Sweet Child of Mine. I figured out how to play it very early on in my playing career. I had a Guns N' Roses tablature book and
You
worked
really
it
get a
out.
choice?
Yeah, and I committed the song to memory. I remember playing it on a classical acoustic guitar at school and then mentioning to my mum and dad that I wanted an electric guitar so I could play it properly. So, it goes all the way through my playing career. I have had to play it recently because in Nightwings they wanted to do it, so I'm playing it in Nightwing. So it came back, and then in fact, we are going to be playing it at the Rough Justice reunion. I am pretty sick of it, it's fair to say.
So what's so interesting about this, as you say this, is so the reason I brought these up, even though we've talked about these songs, is I was doing a little bit of research on why these artists feel like this way. So Slash openly detests the song. Even he said he didn't even like it during its creation. Like he's like, it just wasn't my favorite. The legendary open guitar hook wasn't a stroke of serious concept. It wasn't genius. He said it's literally just silly strings skipping together, and it was a warm-up exercise. That's what Slash said. So he played it to mock mainstream. The song Slash is saying, Tim, he did this as a warm-up exercise to mock modern-day music on the radio.
Yeah, I could honestly, I could see that.
Frontman Axl Rose overheard it and loved to impin the lyrics over it. Slash despised the pop-friendly sentimental, and he said, he told Axl, I wrote this to be sarcastic. Like, I hated it. Like, it was like a cliche of what was playing on the radio, but Axl loves it so much he wrote the song.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah, I'd heard that before, that Slash said he just came up with that opening figure just for fun and it wasn't anything ever serious. And it became so huge And you know, the worst part about Sweet Child of Mine is not, well, the main version of it I'm sick of, but there is a radio edit of it which cuts
Oh
most of the
God.
solos out that they played at
Yep.
the time. So you take something which I suppose on the face of it is good, that I'm sick of, and then they cut all the good
Sort
bits
of.
out, and it was awful.
You know that it makes you wonder though, like it really does play into the concept of like the average listener really just enjoys. So I've talked about this on the podcast. Take it for what it is. Take it for how you feel, whatever. One thing about musicians and singers and who makes it and who breaks it or whatever, right, Tim,
Yeah.
are the ones that are almost simple
Hmm.
and it sounds simple to the ear.
Yeah.
Like and I hate to say this, I will say this so the cows come home and Tim will agree with me. When you are looking at a 4x4 music, you're looking at four notes and four different, statements, whatever. Tim, I know Tim's not looking at it this way because Tim doesn't read it this way. He does a lot of chord progressions, but he understands a 4x4, and I know he knows what that means.
Yeah.
And so that is the most simple, easy thing to your ear. And for whatever it is, we joke about, these four chord progression songs, even some of them are 3x4s, right, Tim? We've talked about there's different songs that are 3x4s that are famous and amazing. And this is not to say that I think humans, by virtue, are simple. That's not it at all. I actually enjoy a very simple melody. I don't like complicated. I don't want to hear drum solo. I don't want to hear like a 74-year guitar solo, right, Tim, when I'm just listening to regular music on the radio. And this is an example of that. He was making a joke about the basic kind of 4x4 progression you hear in any normal kind of thing, right, Tim?
Yeah.
And he thought it was funny because he was kind of making fun of it, but like, I I understand why. And I've also talked about the same reason why singers who are the best singers in the world are always not the most popular singers in the world. Because we like simple on our ears. We like someone who can go from their chest voice to their head voice with not a lot of compression, right? Tim, think like Dolly or somebody like that. Dolly Parton's a great example. Or I don't know, insert whatever singer you like here, right?
Yeah.
Madonna even does a good job of it. And so Whitney is amazing and she can do all those acrobatics. But when it comes to like just singing a pop record, right, Tim? Those are the simple kind of things you want. You want those people with the 4x4 progression. The Beatles have even talked about it. I mean, Paul McCartney's talked at nauseum about how simple some of the tracks they wrote were, right? It's just that simple. And so back to what I was getting at is like he was making fun of a simple kind of thing on the radio, but it does not surprise me that that became one of their biggest selling hits.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very catchy song, I will tell you that. And I mean, it's iconic at this point, and classic rock radio plays it every full song, and a lot of people love that song. But yeah, I personally am sick of it, yet I'm having to play it again after maybe a few years of not playing it.
Tim's been brought back right back to home. But moral story though is what I was getting at though, Tim, is it's very interesting to see. And I will say this so the cows come home, and I think Tim will tell you this. Simple is better if you're trying to actually make a hit to play on the radio.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. That basic 4x4 cow, that kind of like if you can just flip from your head, your chest to your head voice without a lot of compression, it just works. It does. And it's not even the sad part about it is it means even some of the best musicians in the world, right, Tim? They're not the ones selling the hits. They just aren't.
No,
Take it for
absolutely
what
not.
it
No.
is. Wow, I'm talking to like everybody ever's like, Joy, we know that. All right. So I've been curious to know how much Tim knows about this song, but I actually do. I think you've heard it at least sort of. How much do you know about Miley Cyrus Party in the USA?
So I do know of this song. This was when Miley Cyrus was transitioning away from being Hannah Montana, and she was finding her feet as a solo singer. Now, this is when she still had a very sort of whiter than white image. She was just coming off being a Disney person. This is before you got into the realm of Miley Cyrus showing all of her bodily parts off to anyone that wanted to see them.
So, with that being said, I like this song, but I have a very interesting background of this song. So Jessie J, and I don't know how much Tim knows about Jessie J, but Jessie J is this artist who is an amazing songwriter, singer, but she has never been able to like really make it herself. You know those ones that like they're great at singing, they're great at like music, they're great at like if you put them on like a live show or whatever, they do a great job, but they for some reason never make it themselves. And they write music for a lot of other artists. That is what Jessie J is, if that makes sense. She also won the Masked Singer in like Asia one time. I don't know, take it for what it is. But she is an amazing songwriter, singer, musician, beautiful. Like if you heard her voice, and she has like the most eclectic, can hit those high notes like you've never heard of a person, right? But for some reason, exactly what I was just talking about, she does not buzz. She doesn't hit those but like those things where you're selling pop tracks regularly. Once again, the best musician is not the one who's always selling the music, right, Tim? We know this. So with that being said, Jessie J wrote Party in the USA. She also wrote a lot of other music for a lot of other people. She was one of those people. And Miley was kind of like you. She was like, this sounds like pop. It's not me right now. I want to be a little bit more edgy, whatever. So exact reason is that she said they had zero alignment with her true musical tastes and begged DJs not to play it. Now, I have a very funny story about this song, Tim, and I could not do this podcast episode without telling you about this story. So, I could care less about Party in the USA. Don't listen to it normally, don't care. But I, back in the day, may have been living my best life in my early 20s when this song came out. And I may have been going to the bubs, really, Joy, the bars and the pubs. That's what they're called. They're called bubs. Bars and pubs. It was hanging out with the friends and doing all the things that someone does in their early 20s. Let people live. So in Blacksburg, and Tim can testify to this, there's a thing called a hooptie. And this hooptie ride was not like it was pre-Uber, pre-Lyft, and I wasn't calling a taxi. I'm not calling a taxi. Each person in a little hoopty ride with you paid $2 and they would hoop to you to the bar.
Yep.
So, and these little hoopties were very distinct. Like you had like a Scooby-Doo one, like they were like the cool hoopties. Like we had like very cool, like blacked out windows, cool party bus situation going on. I don't even know if they were a bus. I don't know, van, whatever they were. So anyway, with that being said, you got a Scooby-Doo one. You got Tim's seen them, I think, in Blacksburg right there. You've seen the hoopty rides. Like
Yeah,
they
in
have
fact,
like a very distinct.
they actually closed down. I know exactly where they were. They were opposite the dry cleaners I go to. And it was a year or two ago, they closed and they said, what with all those ride sharing things that you was talking about, they couldn't make it work any longer.
But Tim can tell you, they were very distinct. And when you got on the hoopty, it was like you were going into like a disco bus.
Yeah.
Like it was fun. It was a fun, like shag carpet, disco ball flying, music playing. So I learned this version of Party the USA that was Party in the USA mixed with, oh my God, I can't even remember what rap song it was now. It was a hold on. I gotta Google this in real time because this is worth it. If you've never heard this version, you will like. This is amazing. Phil Reese, I'm looking at you. You'll love this. Oh, I gotta find it. I'm Googling it in real time. Oh God.
Joy is having a look right now. Do you find
It's gonna
it?
drive me insane. No, hold on. Stop for a second, Tim. It's It's Notoria B.S. I can't say it on air right now because it's not a good word, Tim. But it's Party and BS in the USA.
Okay.
It's Notorious B.I.G.'s classic, and it's Party and BS. That's the lyrics. And Party and that word that I can't say. And I distinctly have a very distinct memory. So insert early 2021 Joy, get on this little hoopty bus, and this is playing. And I had never heard the actual Miley Party music because I don't listen to Miley Cyrus. What? No, any reason why. And I was like, what is this? Why do I love this so much? It is so good, Tim. It is the best mashup of the best worlds that you've ever heard because it inserts like that very fun kind of rhythmic that you get from like the Notorious B.I.G. mixed with the ridiculousness of Party in the USA, which it was a ridiculous song. And I understand why I was like, this is not what I want to be at this moment, right, Tim? Like, I completely get where she was coming from in that sense as someone who was trying to move away from some of the ridiculousness. But I remember, so this is where the story gets stupider. We kept getting me, Jennifer, and Molly. If you watch the podcast, you know, or listen to the podcast, you know, my best friend's name is Molly. Jennifer has not been on here, though we may have to hold her hostage and bring her on. Those are my two best friends for life. We had this guy who kept being our hoopty driver, and it was his playlist. So I just remember this. We called him Stephen Howard Jesus. And the reason we call him Steve Howard Jesus is he had a little Jesus who would sit on the dashboard and he was very religious. And he would preach to us coming back from the club at 3 a.m. And Stephen Howard Jesus would play Party and whatever the word I can BS that I can't say on this podcast, which I find very funny, Tim, that this man was playing this music very blasting loud with the disco ball going in the literal like. And for those who don't have any perspective, Tim, I mean, I know if you're in your UK, y'all have a lot more carpet than we do, but think like shag carpet and a bus. You got a pole, take that for what it is. Use the pole for whatever you want. And like blaring music, lights flashing, like Tim, they were party buses. They were straight up party buses. So Stephen Howard chooses us. Has lived, we got him 7 different times. I swear to you, Tim. We would kept getting Stephen Howard Jesus, and he would tell us that Jesus put us here to bring you home every freaking night from the bar. And I learned this song from Partying the USA and BS, take it for what it is, Notorious B.I.G. And let me tell you, I don't remember anything about what he preached to us. And at one point, I'm pretty sure he was giving us actual, like, Bible verses, driving us down the road in the park. He might have got fired, guys. I don't know. Stephen Howard Jews got us home, though, Tim. He did get us home, and it was memorable. And he had good music taste. But I just find it hilarious that this man was giving us Bible verses while playing Notorious B.I.G. and Miley Cyrus at the same time. Is that not very a nuanced memory, Tim?
Yeah, it certainly is a moment in time for you, Joy.
I wonder where Stephen Howard Jesus. By the way, we call him Stephen Howard Jesus because he had 3 first names. Tim, you know people have like 3 first names? I don't know what the other one was, but we called him Stephen Howard Jesus. I don't know what the other because he had a Jesus. He literally had Tim. I don't know anything more iconic than driving a hoopty bus in Bloxburg with shag carpet and a disco ball and a Jesus on your dashboard.
Well, unfortunately, nobody will ever be able to experience that again because that company is no more.
Yeah, it was like I made it up. Like, I need Molly and Jennifer to come on air and tell you I did not just make that story up. It happened. And then it was this we trusted our life with Stephen Howard Julius. He always got us home safely, Tim. Nothing ever happened. And he had a good playlist, and that's how I learned that song. I mean, we could have maybe not got him telling us about Psalms 34 and how we should repent or something. I don't know. But that's a debate for another time. He got us home safely. I feel like I just need other people who've ever lived in Blacksburg to tell me if they ever have had Stephen Howard Jesus drive them home. Like, I need to know. All right. Well, anyway, let's go back to the actual music. Tim's like, I don't know how to answer this, Joy. That's a weird statement. With that being said, the next artist is Rivers Cuomo. You've heard of him before.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
Weezer. It's Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I mean, that surprises me. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the catalog of Weezer. I do like Buddy Holly though, so I'm surprised that's not the song that he's sick of.
So basically, Cuomo later eliminated that he had built a monster. He came to see the track as an incredible, simplistic, creative, uninspired caricature of the band's actual power pop capabilities, noting the vast financial success of the song. Noting that there was a vast financial success of the song, he didn't feel respected and or creative and or so on and so forth. I
Interesting.
mean, that's such a like vast, like I don't know. That's like so nuanced in a way. I don't know. Beverly Hills is fine. It's fine. I don't really seek it out. I like it when it comes on, but I don't really like. And then Oasis seems right though. It's not like Weezer doesn't have 1,000 other songs that people aren't listening to at any given time. So why is this the one?
Yeah, maybe it just strikes a chord with Rivers Cuomo. I don't know. I mean, I did like their cover of Africa, which was good, and the video has Weird Al in it. I also I said Buddy Holly is fabulous, and mostly for the video. The video is a complete like shot for shot recreation of Happy Days. And I don't know if you knew this, Joy. I am a big fan of 70s TV show Happy Days. Are you a fan of Happy Days?
I am, and I love the Macadoos commercial near us, where it's like Monday, Tuesday, Macadoos. No one, do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever heard that?
I do indeed. Now, this is something, we talk about history and how the 90s was 10 years ago and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Happy Days was a TV show made in the 70s about life in the 50s. If you made Happy Days today, it would
Depressing.
be from about 2005.
Great. Love that for us. Thank you for literally making me feel. No, like you were talking about, like that 70s show when they redid it, they had to do that 90s show. And that 90s show is what, Tim? 30 years ago.
No, the 90s was 10 years ago, Joy. I had this
No,
conversation
it
at work
wasn't,
today.
Tim, it wasn't because I was born in 90. And do you know how old I am? I know how old I am. I turned 36 next month. Oh God, no, I'm just giving Tim a hard time. But yeah, so yeah, I do know. I'm depressed. Thank you for this podcast for depressing me again. Once again, makes me feel old. Tim's like, how do you think I feel? I do think the funniest thing though that we've ever talked about, like cultural differences, we joke a lot on this podcast about cultural differences, we got into it earlier a little bit about it. And age differences was the time that Tim was on the bus and they took the entire top of the bus off and kids had glass in their hair and no one got sued. Like that is so much a very iconic to the fact that when you were on that event, like what was it, Tim? Was it like a class trip or something? And then the bus got the whole thing taken off, and you were joking about how like literally glass was falling in you guys' hair, and no one got sued. What bus? What was it you were doing? I don't even remember.
It was a school trip to Northumbria, which is in the north of England. We was on a coach, and then the coach pulled up at the hotel that we were staying. The skylight was open, of course, because it's a UK coach that doesn't have air conditioning. The skylight was open as it pulled into like the portcullis, if you will, whatever you call it, that covering thing that's in front of the hotel.
Carpool kind of thing.
Yeah, the glass scraped across it, and then the glass shattered, shattering glass onto the kids underneath. And there was just a little bit of ruffling of hair, and it was fine.
See, and that is the most like moment in life where I'm like, we've changed very differently. Now, the iconic thing that we were just talking about is UK refusing to accept air conditioning. We had an ad nauseum conversation about this before. And I will say, if you are listening to this, guys, and you are warm and you are in England, just buy a $200 air conditioning unit, right, Tim?
Joy and I were talking about this. The United Kingdom has not embraced air conditioning whatsoever. And admittedly, it doesn't get as hot as it does here. But, there are several weeks when it's 70, 80 degrees in freedom units, whatever that is in metric. I have no idea.
32 degree difference. 32 degree difference, Tim.
And people are just like complaining how hot they are. Buy an air conditioner. You could go into... Oh, I'd say go into Comets, but I don't think it exists anymore. You could go into Curry's,
Amazon.
and you could
Just
probably buy
Amazon.com.
a portable air conditioner.
What it is like, so I will say something controversially. I don't know if we don't need to get into all the just of climate change is a thing, Tim. Me and
Hmm.
Tim will both say we believe in climate change. If you don't believe in climate change, this might not be the podcast for you, and that's okay. With that being said, me and Tim believe in science. So with that, take that for what it is, and I don't think Tim would ever disagree with me on that. Um, Climate change is making it hotter in England, I imagine. That's just a thing. Also, like I get it's 2 to 3. Spend the $200 and buy a literal unit that goes out your window. I don't know, buy a fan. Like
Let me tell
put
you,
ice in your drink.
I've just gone currys.co.uk. You can buy a small portable air conditioner for £219.
Me and Tim will literally help you. We'll like get the
Well,
money together. Don't die.
I'm going to
Don't.
Alaska, Joy. I need to save my money, so I won't
Okay,
help
well,
people.
Tim will
Point
put
them
like
to the
$20
website.
in. Joy will have to pay the rest. With that being said, though, like don't die. Like there's like an actual thing where people in Europe or I'm sorry, in England specifically, that are dying of heat stroke. And
Yeah.
I read things with pets dying and things like that. For what reason, sir? The technology. And I know you're gonna say our houses are old and done. America has old houses too. Not as old as Europe. I know that. I'm not dumb. I understand we're younger. But like you just put the thing up. Does your window open? If your window opens, Tim,
Yeah.
that's it. And Tim, you had openly said that you had AC when you lived in England, right? I didn't make that up.
No, I had a very small bedsit. It was a flat, like bedsit type thing that I rented in Bedfont. And because I was traveling around the US a lot.
Bed font
uh,
sounds like actual font, by the way, on like on Microsoft
yeah,
Office. But
yeah, I'll
continue.
have the bed font. And I bought a portable air conditioners from Comets. In fact, not Curry's. Comets doesn't even exist anymore. And I had it vented through the letterbox, and it was absolutely fantastic. Now the thing is I used to tell people at work that I had an air conditioning unit in my house, and I might as well have owned a space shuttle because they were like, "Oh wow, where did you get that from? I bet that's really expensive. How
No,
does that work?" And it's just like it's an air conditioner.
it's like a souped up fan.
It's a
Like,
fan that blows cold.
all right. So moral story is don't die if you're in Europe, and please just get an AC unit. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. And the other thing is like now, I will say, what do you feel, Tim, if we're going to get into these controversial America versus Europe, UK, whatever? I don't need to get the details. What do you feel about ice in drinks?
I didn't grow up with ice in drinks. It was not so much of a thing. I mean, yeah, you had sometimes ice in the
Of course it
freezer,
wasn't.
but I mean, it wasn't so much a thing. The United States puts ice in everything. Now, I will tell you that I drink water at work every day in a like a water container type thing that I have that a vendor gave me for free because that's how you get that stuff. And we have an ice machine at work, and I never ever put ice in it. I just have it lukewarm tap temperature.
But like if you're going to get lunch and you're getting your Subway, right? And you
Hmm.
get a little bevy, do you put ice in it or not?
Well, typically I don't buy drinks at lunchtime because it makes my lunch too expensive. But if I was going to go to a restaurant, a
Potentially,
Subway,
Tim.
something along those lines, yes, if I have the cup, I'm going to fill it with a bit of ice and then I'm going to fill it up with whatever I drink.
So what? So I will say, controversially, even though I have been the one who's been out of my country multiple times, I like just a little bit of ice. Tim, I don't like a lot of ice. I like a little bit of ice.
Hmm.
Charlie, my husband, who has not left the country ever, he doesn't put ice in it because he says that it just water status drink. That's how he feels about it. Now, I will say though, if you are in Spain in July, as I would have killed for just a little bit of ice, Tim, just the tiniest bit of ice in my drink.
The other thing you have to consider is some countries, even well-developed countries, Western countries,
I
you,
know it's
you
the
don't want
quality
to
of
put
water.
ice in your drink because the water isn't always safe to drink.
Guess who's gotten sick from that before? Joy, so she knows better. I know better. I did that. I got very physically ill
Yeah.
because you don't want your tap water ice. I know why. I know why. I know why. The other thing is not even just that it's bad in the sense that like it's just the like the microbiomes and stuff my body's not used to
Yeah,
because
that's
I've not
another
been in
thing.
that country.
When I moved from the UK to the US, or when I've gone backwards and forwards, sometimes
Hmm.
if you drink tap water, even if the tap water is completely safe, it takes a few days for your system to get used to that, just because the water is different.
I remember like when we went to Greece with my mom a few years ago, right pre-COVID, we were like, it was like day 4. I noticed my tummy was a little weird, right, Tim? Like it wasn't
Hmm.
great. And my mom was like, my tummy's a little weird. It was because, like, you get the water, and the water was fine. There wasn't anything weird with it. It was just kind of like it took a few days for our stomachs to kind of like, this isn't the microbiomes I'm familiar with, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something you also have to take into account. I get it. I understand why, but I will say I just like a little bit of ice, just a little, like 2, 3 little. I don't want a lot, just a little. Also, like if you're in Europe and you're listening to us and you're dying of heat stroke, spend the $200. Don't
Fine.
die. All
Fine.
right.
Well, I would say, Joy, you've probably got time for one song or maybe two songs.
Since we spent the last 30 years talking about how they should just buy AC. All right. So, with that being said, we're going to move along. This is a song we both know. There's multiple versions of this song. Controversially, I did not know this band did not like this song. This is The Who. This is Pinball Wizard. Did
Yeah,
you
I
know
mean
that?
it's a great song. It's got that iconic intro. It's part of the Rough Justice set, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I could see. I mean, because it was part of the film Tommy, it was probably incredibly
Hmm.
overplayed during the peak success of the Who in the late '60s, early '70s. They often would play the Tommy album in its entirety, so I could see how they'd be sick of it. The other thing that Pete Townsend does in a lot of those concept albums he had, Quadrophenia being one, and
Yeah.
Tommy, and then Lifehouse, which later on went became turned into Who's Next. He has like an overture theme that goes through the whole thing. So he'll be hinting the riff from Pinball Wizard in other songs as part of the whole act, if you will. So
So
yeah, I could see that they would be sick of that.
this was a very interesting though. The reason that you think they're sick of it is probably not what you were thinking though, Tim. Is they're tired of overpaying it. But what's interesting about this was so Pete Townsend wrote this, song out of sheer calculated desperation. The band had played an earlier preview of their ambitious album, Tommy, and rock critic Nick Cohen, who reacted with complete apathy. He hated it.
Mhm.
Knowing Cohen was an obsessive fan of the game pinball, Townsend said he frantically returned to his hotel room and wrote Pinball Wizard overnight solely to trick the critic into a rave review. Townsend later said he eliminated the song as the most clumsy piece of writing I've ever done. So he literally wrote it overnight just to make one critic happy. And he's like, now it's not great.
Mhm.
Which is interesting because I love it. I love their version. I love Elton John's version. I love the Glee version. Like I love Pinball Wizard. I will stand by. I think it's great. But I also understand, like if you know what I mean. He's like, I just kind of threw it together. That's literally what he's saying, right?
Yeah, but Pete Townsend is a songwriting genius, and also
Yeah,
if
if
you've
he throws them together, it's going to sound amazing.
yeah,
So.
and you listen to his demos, that's almost exactly the Who song, but he's playing all the instruments. It's unbelievable.
I mean, Tim, come on. We're talking about, but I could understand from his perspective that he's like, it's someone who I find to be like a prodigy of music. It's like Paul McCartney of sorts, or we talking about
Yeah,
Prince and
yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. Like he's sitting there going, I threw this together in 5 minutes. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's saying. He's like, I did it. He's like, I literally, and he's also saying, I wrote this song not out of wanting to write it. I wrote it to make a critic happy. So Tommy would go well.
Yeah. That
Which
sounds exactly right.
It's kind of crazy. All right. Well, we're going to do one more song. And this is not a song that we've talked ad nauseum a lot. I mean, me and you both know this. This is an artist that I refuse to sing. I've said no one should ever sing them if you're not them. And if you are, stop doing it. No one wants to hear you. With that being said, it's hard. What about love?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say Alone is the track that for me is most overplayed and I didn't want to hear. But again, I didn't write this song. The Ann and Nancy Wilson did, and they probably have their reasons.
So, while Anne and Nancy's hatred of their later hit, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You, is well documented, What About Love represented the painful interception of their resentment. In the mid 1985 era, Capitol Records forced the band to completely abandon their heavy, acoustic, rock driven roots to perform commercialized outside of their kind of heavy metal power ballads.
Mm-hmm.
The Sisters felt this song utterly stripped away their hard-earned credibility with rock, reducing them to artificial MTV packaged corporate product, which is funny because I kind of get it. Because one thing about, and I imagine this happens a lot with female rock artists, right, Tim? They were always probably put in some little package that they had to do. And if you do not know Heart and you don't think they rock, then you're dumb. I'm just going to say it for what it is. If you've never heard them, and I've said ad nauseum, they are one of the greatest rock bands that's ever lived, and no one else should do them besides them, because not only can they rock, like, basically, like, musician-wise, right, Tim, and the music's rocking, their vocals are out of this world, and no one besides them should, like, nobody besides Ann and Nancy should do Heart. I'm sorry, I said what I said. I've never heard anyone do a good Heart cover. Have you, Tim? Truly. I haven't. Maybe I feel like Miley Cyrus might be able to do it. She might be an exception.
Yeah, she's an anomaly because you don't think she could sing hard rock, but she really can.
What is her name? The one who was the first one to win American Idol. Oh God, I can't think of her name right now. She has a TV show right now. Anyway, moral story is very few people can do this. With that being said, I find it very interesting that I feel like I can understand why What About Love feels like it's taking them away from their rock roots. And so they don't like to perform it because they're like, this is not even a song we want to do. It's commercialized bubblegum pop. It's not who we are, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So that does not surprise me. The one that on this list, before we go, Tim, that did surprise me, and truly, this did surprise me. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. Did you know she hates that song?
No, because I mean that's her song. I mean, it's a song from Titanic. It's it's probably the song that relaunched her in some degree. It made her a household name. But yeah, again, if you have to sing it every single time, I think I'd be sick of it.
Well, it's weirder than you think. So it's impossible to separate, her from Titanic and so on and so forth. But Celine Dion, originally wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. Upon hearing the instrumental track, she hated the melody and flatly refused to record it. Her husband and manager, Reginald, who's passed away now, practically begged her to step into the booth and lay down a raw demo as personal favor to the composer. The single, frustrated, one take demo ended up being the actual unedited version that we all hear now. Because she's Celine Dion, she could sing the phone book and it would be fine. So there you go. Kelly Clarkson, that was the other person I was trying to say earlier who could probably sing Heart. With that being said, Tim, I'm not surprised by a lot of these. There's a few of them I did not know some of these artists hated. I didn't know that Who hated Pinball Wizard, and I didn't know that Celine Dion hated My Heart Will Go On. So there's that. With that being said, what would you like to leave the people with?
I would just say be kind to everyone that you meet.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.